You ever just look at the moon sometimes and you're like, damn, that's a cool shot. And you try to take a picture of it, but it just never turns out the way that you wanted it to. I don't know. I just thought of that. If you guys are looking for a cigar review, this ain't it. If you've been following me for any length of time, you know that the Norteño is one of my all-time go-to favorite cigars. I don't really know. This is just kind of like one of those times where the weather starts to cool off and I get a little fire going on the patio. My mind just wanders sometimes, and I reflect on a lot of things. I think about my day. I think about being a dad, and I think about that a lot. And sometimes I think it's not what I thought it would be, I guess. Growing up, you imagine it's all about teaching your kids right from wrong and showing them how to be strong and how to be good, responsible people. And that's just a part of it. But nobody really tells you that being a dad is about learning. And I can't say enough how much I've learned from my kids. And, you think you're supposed to have all the answers, but, there are days when I'm just trying to keep up and I'm just trying to figure things out, and it reminds me of my own dad sometimes. And he was tough. He didn't have a lot of words, and I understand that all of that came out of a place in his heart. It came out of love. But I also realized, like, I'm not him. And, my kids, they don't necessarily need that from me every time. Sometimes they just need someone to listen to them and somebody who shows up or who's not afraid to be wrong in front of them and apologizing when you mess up. And, trust me, I mess up a lot, more than I'd like to admit, but just, learning that it's okay to be this imperfect person. I just want to be the kind of dad that lets them be themselves and sees them like really sees them, for who they are and not something that I want them to be or how I think they should be, if that even makes sense. And it's just hard sometimes. Like, I worry, am I doing enough? Am I teaching them the right lessons? Are they going to look back one day and say, oh, dad was too strict, or maybe I wasn't strict enough, or, will they ever really know how much I love them and how much they mean to me? Even when I'm tired and I'm not being patient, hey, I guess those questions are something that every parent asks, but who knows? I don't know if I'm getting in my head about it or if this is something that every parent thinks about. But one of my kids said one time, he was like, Dad, when I grow up, I want to be just like you. I thought about it for a second and I said, no, buddy, you're going to grow up and you're going to be better than me. This is going to sound kind of ridiculous, but I was watching Netflix and they had that Receivers documentary, and it was St. Brown's dad. It showed these clips of him training his kids and practicing and doing all these things. And I'll never forget, he said a quote during all of that really stuck with me. And the quote was, "There's no lazy kids, there's just lazy parents." I heard that quote on that show and it just really kind of stuck with me. And I was like, wow. And this video necessarily wasn't about me being a downer. It was just me just being real and contemplating some thoughts that I had that I wanted to share with you guys. And, I think it's normal as a parent to think about this kind of stuff. And I just want to say to all my parents that are listening, you guys are doing a great job. Anyway, guys, thanks for listening to my rant. I'll see you next time.